Welcome or welcome back. I'm Shannon Bakes. Okay, I've actually waited 2 years to say that, but for real, today in a bit of departure from my normal content, we're going to be decorating some cookies for the holidays. So if that intro looked familiar to you, congratulations, that means you were one of the few people who saw the original version of that video last year, and if not, you're in for a special treat. I've retouched the audio, added some bonus commentary, and a fun little holiday announcement in the middle, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, let's just go make some beautiful and gorgeous, tasty holiday cookies. Not just any cookies, however, some historically themed corset cookies. Now, I've decorated cookies a couple times before, and they did turn out pretty well, but it's also been several years since I've done it, so let's see if I can remember any of that technique and come up with some historically inspired holiday corset cookies. So this is not a baking channel, so I'm not going to walk you through the recipe step by step, but I will be sure to link it down in the description if you want to make some of your own. I've made mine up ahead of time, and now I'm just going to roll it out so that we can start cutting some corsets out. Oh, it smells absolutely delicious. I'm not sure if I've done this recipe before. It was one I just found online, but it is not supposed to spread out. So hopefully once we cut out some of these corsets, they should retain their shape in the oven, which is going to be kind of important. Should I roll it out on the table? That's a good question. Now normally if I was doing this in the kitchen, I would roll out a huge sheet of this all at once, but because this is not the kitchen, instead I'm just gonna roll out a small amount and then cut it out on my cutting board instead. Alright, I think that's good enough. I don't have a specific target thickness I'm going for. I would guess that this is about a little bit under 1/4 inch, but I do want it to be the same thickness throughout so that they cook evenly, and also that every cookie should be approximately the same thickness too. So to cut these out, I've gone ahead and made some little cardboard silhouettes that I'll be using because I do not have a wide variety of official corset cookie cutters, but I did go ahead and take a little poll on Instagram asking for some of y'all's favorite historical corsets and stays, and from those and from my own personal favorites, I've gone ahead and made some cute little cardboard cutouts, and I'm looking forward to going ahead and chopping these guys out. So the first one I'll be starting off with is the yellow stays from the Met from 1770s. Carefully scoop this guy out. Probably should get the parchment paper out first. Okay, I will say having your baking trays lined before you start cutting the cookies out is probably best practice, but like I said, it's been a couple years since I've done this, so I'm a little bit rusty. Moving on to a corset from 1864 housed in the V&A Museum. I have to say the hip spring on this one is incredible. Ooh, I think I have room for one more cookie. Let's see what I can squeeze on here. Yep, I think it's going to be another pair of stays from the Met. It doesn't have a year on it, but I think I recognize the silhouette, and I think it's that beautiful green and pink one that they have. So just squeezing that on here in the last little remaining space. And the lovely thing about this though is that when you're done, you can just smush it back up and roll it back out as many times as you need to. If it gets a little bit dry, you can just add a tiny bit of water, but honestly, it should be pretty good for at least 3-4 rollings before you need to worry about that. So here's the quick little announcement that I wanted to make, and that is that this year I will be doing a short little Vlogmas series as I travel around the US performing our Christmas show, and I would love for you to join me. Consider tuning in if you'd like to get to know me a little bit better. If you'd like a sneak peek at all the various crafts I'm doing on tour and how I'm working that into our schedule. If you'd like to learn more about what life on the road looks like for a professional circus artist, or if you're already familiar with the backstage life and you just want a bit of nostalgia and fond memories. Or perhaps you're looking for something to keep you company while you craft, cook, clean. This time of year can just be really busy in general, and if you're looking for some entertainment to help get you through the process, these videos could be just the thing. I can guarantee you lots of crafts, plenty of circus, a touch of holiday cheer with a little bit of travel vlog sprinkled in, plenty of my face, and hopefully a handful of entertainment that should be free of the consumeristic undertones that I find to be utterly pervasive in social media and media in general this time of the year. I'm not here to sell you anything. My goal is just to entertain and amuse and hopefully give you some inspiration for your own crafting adventures in the weeks and months to come. So if that sounds good, I invite you to check them out, whether that is tuning in day by day as they released or waiting and watching them at your leisure, maybe binging the entire playlist, whatever your preferred viewing method, that's fine by me. I just hope to see you there for a bit of fun holiday cheer. I know vlogs are not necessarily everyone's thing, but if you've been liking the videos so far, consider giving the first one or two a try, seeing if they're your thing, and if not, no big deal. I will catch you in the new year when it's back to more regularly scheduled programming. So the cookies are out of the oven and they are drying, and now is the fun part because it is time to make some fun icing colors. Now these are not regular food coloring like you might see growing up in your mom's house. These are gel food colors. They are much stronger and more concentrated than the classic liquid ones, and they make some beautiful colors. So let's open this up and start mixing some frosting, because the thing with this is that this frosting needs to sit overnight for the colors to develop and get a bit deeper. So we gotta mix them up now, come back and start decorating tomorrow. Ooh, fresh new colors, they're the best. I've also already mixed up my plain white icing ahead of time. Again, I'll put the recipe for that in the description as well. Oh, it's thick. All right, well, what color should we start off with? I think I'm gonna start off with the sienna, because this seems like the pretty classic corset base color, more or less. So let's mix up some of that. So one thing is you do have to be careful about all this, because the colors will get everywhere, all over your hands, everything. So it's best to put these guys right in the garbage. Look at me being a responsible adult. All right, and let's just go at it. 1, 2. Let's start with 2. Let's see where 2 gets us. Well, not gonna lie, it's looking a lot more orange than I had anticipated. I'm gonna try adding some brown to that. So besides finding the right color, which I still have yet to find a good beige, that's a work in progress, there's also the question of consistency, because you need your icing to be the right consistency. If it's too thick, then it won't spread at all, and if it's too thin, then it will run all over the place. So far, I think I've gotten this to a pretty good consistency. That'll do. Alright, well, I kind of got in the zone yesterday mixing up all those colors, and I'm not quite sure I did a fantastic job filming it, but I am very happy with the colors that I got in the end. I got as many colors mixed up as I had bags for, and in retrospect, I maybe didn't leave enough of just plain white, but we've got some fantastic colors, including I finally did manage to work out a corsety tan-ish beige sort of color, and that dusty rose developed overnight to be this absolutely just lovely color. I'm super happy with it. We're just gonna have some fun with these colors, but first, before I get to actually put them to use, I need to take my cookies, and I have these little templates that I've made, and I'm just going to kind of scribe out the outline of where I want some of the main lines of these corsets to fall, so that I'm not just going in completely blind, and I do have a little bit of an idea of what I want them to look like. I'm also very excited because I got this new fancy cookie spinner decorating thing. I've never used one before, and I'm looking forward to seeing if it actually makes the cookie decorating process go easier and smoother, or if it's just one of those fancy gimmicks you see online. I will say this is much easier. Back when I used to have an edible marker, I could just mark everything out. As it is, I left that in Copenhagen and I don't have it with me. So we're just going with this funky, weird scribe tool type thing, and it's sharp and pointy and it's getting the job done, but I can tell it's gonna be slightly more annoying to frost these puppies. I've gotten everything pretty much outlined, so I have at least a vague idea of what I want to do with my icing. So now I think I'm just going to hop into the decorating, and I want to start with this, and it's the pair of green and pink stays. I'll throw a picture up here. I have all the colors for this in more or less the right shades, and it's one of my favorite patterns, and it's also fairly simple, so it might be a nice sort of way to ease into the process and get a little bit warmed up. So let's get going. Some of these are more clearly based off of extant examples than others, and this one comes directly from the pages of a magazine from 1909. It's got the long vertical lines, the S-bend silhouette, the sheared garters, and of course the massively tall lace along the top edge. This blue one is a classic, and it's no surprise that it made the list. It was made of blue silk with bust and hip gores that I did my best to reproduce. It's also got some beautiful white flossing details that I obviously had to simplify. This beauty is technically a court gown bodice from the 18th century, but it was so stunning that I just had to reproduce it. There are very few details on the Met's website other than the fact that it is made of silk and metal thread. Then we have a red serge corset from 1883, complete with spoon busk and beige leather, and reminded me ever so much of a circus tent. This is the last of these strict reproductions and their Italian stays from the 1770s, gifted to the Met in the 1940s. I adore the colors and the challenge of reproducing the patterns in frosting, even though I did screw up rather badly on the laces. From here on out, I left the historical inspiration behind and just went wild with my colors and patterns, and they resulted in some of my favorite cookies of the group. They were bright colors and intricate designs, and I even managed to sneak some small details in there. Unfortunately, I ran out of time, and this is all that was filmed of the design process. Now, what I didn't mention in the original video was how absolutely down to the wire this whole video was, because I filmed it in the 2 days immediately prior to flying out to our Christmas contract that year, and 2 days was absolutely not enough to make all of those cookies and film it and make sure to film the reveal. So the first few clips of the reveal, the ones on the turning Lazy Susan, those were filmed at about midnight in Montreal, with me absolutely panicking that the video wouldn't be ready in time and thinking that I had to scrap the whole thing because I just wasn't going to get any good reveal shots. And thankfully, Phil stepped in with the genius idea. He said, let's turn all the fans on the cookies overnight, then you're gonna pack them very carefully at about 5 a.m. the following morning, transport them to our contract, and once you're there, if they've survived the journey, then you can film the reveal. So all of the more aesthetic, beautiful, calm shots from the reveal here were in fact filmed on location a whole different day, and thanks purely to that suggestion, this video was able to in fact be a video and not just get trashed into the archives of my computer forever. So now that you know that little bit of fun background, let's cut to the reveal. And 24 hours and 1 flight later, during which a few sad cookies didn't quite make it, we have the final reveal, and I'm counting on you to tell me which one is your personal favorite. I'm generally pretty pleased with how they turned out, even though I know that given more time, I could have made them look even better, added more colors, fixed those imperfections in the frosting. In the end though, regardless of how they looked, they tasted amazing, and that's what counts in the end. So here's a little reminder that your holidays don't need to be Instagram worthy. You don't need the ornaments on your tree to match, or the wrappings on your presents to be folded just like that one reel you saved. It's the little imperfections that make it personal, handmade, human. So I hope you find the time this season to slow down, take time with loved ones, and make some wonderful memories. If you have a favorite wintertime tradition that you're looking forward to, share it down below, and if you're going to be doing some holiday cookie baking, be it historically inspired or otherwise, let me know down in the comments what's in your oven. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.